I didn't move my flag.
And we're live, and we're live. So, welcome to the Rican show. I labeled it episode 48, although I don't know why sometimes I put episodes, sometimes I don't. But I have Kari again, and we're here to talk about, uh, which I never thought in my lifetime I would be talking about, one assassination attempt, let alone now we're talking about the second attempt.
Two in less than 60 days.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll let you start off with that because I got a lot to say.
I feel like we all do. I think it's shocking to say the least. If anything, it's giving us a glimpse of what's to come because I don't expect it to be the last one. As we get closer to the election, I feel like Donald Trump is going to be more and more danger. Um, but I don't know what's more shocking, that it's happening or that the media has not only normalized the assassination attempts on Trump, but they're also blaming him for it. So it's you see a lot happening really quickly, and
Mhm.
I think it's terrifying for this country.
No, I think it is. It's like the fact that they're trying to blame it on him, and the fact here's the thing that annoys me the most. I'm gonna this is the thing that annoys me the most, and this is what I'm gonna say. Um, if I'm going to show a clip in a little bit where the guy where they talk about both sides, this nonsense of both sides. Okay, here's the whole thing: when the Democrats do it, it's no big deal. Oh, it's okay, you know. Peaceful but fire. Mostly peaceful protest. You had the Summer of Love
Hmm.
with the George Floyd protest. You had Kavanaugh hearings where they stormed the Capitol. They stormed the Supreme Court. They did it again for Roe versus Wade.
You saw it with you saw them try to burn down a police station
Hmm.
during the summer riots.
Yep.
Then when the whole Ukraine, no, was it
Well, no.
Ukraine or was it Israel? They're also
Oh,
inside the
that was
Capitol
going to be my
buildings.
yeah. That was going to be my next thing. When you look at these pro-Palestinian um, rallies, protests, whatever you want to call them, they get they get violent in some of those things. The fact to me, it's violent when you remove an American flag and place it with a foreign flag.
Yep. When
Because if
you
you're gonna when you take down an American flag to put a Palestinian flag, to me that's violence because you're disrespecting our country.
But this is normal. This is normalization of the left. This is normal for them. We see
Well,
them
that's
desecrate.
yeah,
We see them not only take the flag out, we see them desecrate our memorials. We see
yeah,
them not care about anything that is beloved to this country. If anything, they're trying to tear it down.
yeah. No,
And
exactly, exactly. And then what do the Democrats always bring up? January 6th.
and see, that's the
And
thing.
that's all they
Okay,
that's all they have. That's
they
all they
have
have.
nothing. They have nothing. And even January 6th, it's just a bunch of bullshit, right? Let's call it a riot.
Yeah.
Riot. Let's call it a riot. All right. There was an insurrection. No one
No.
has been there. No one is arrested for insurrection. No one has been given um the felony. No one. There's no one
No.
under insurrection. Right. They
No.
deleted the videos and the tweets of Trump saying "do it peacefully,"
Yep.
so they could label him. While Trump requested more security, Pelosi rejected it.
And the
Right.
mayor of
And the
DC.
mayor of DC, because they wanted it to become this escalation so they could point fingers. But meanwhile, you have the police setting them in. You have instigators who were working for the Democrats, and one one Republican was shot. One conservative, Ashley Bobbitt.
Hmm.
The only loss. Another cop died after the fact from like heart attack or something in the hospital after the fact.
Yeah, he
But
had
they
a
keep
stroke. He had a stroke.
I stroke, yeah. But they keep trying to blame it on January 6th when that is not accurate.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, during George Floyd and the Summer of Love, there were dozens of people murdered. There was that
Hmm.
black cop that was shot and murdered because he was trying to stop a robbery. And
he was retired, but yes, I remember he
Yeah,
was protecting like his friend's like porn shop or something like that.
it was a
And
store. He was, I don't know what it was,
yeah,
but yeah,
but I remember I remember that case. I mean, don't you remember the Chop or the Chaz in
the chat,
Seattle
yeah, yeah.
when they
But
took
even
over?
I was gonna say, like even January 6th, it never reached the escalation that the riots of the left do. Not,
No,
it didn't go on for days. It didn't go on for months. It didn't. It was a few hours, and the whole. You see grandmas walking around being basically given a tour of the Capitol.
yeah.
You know?
Well,
So
there's people who they've been let the charges had to be dropped because their defense was, well, they told me it could go in.
yeah, yeah, and you see, if it wasn't for, oh man, why am I having a brain fart with his name? I'm awful with names. Even Tucker Carlson,
Uh-huh.
he released all those videos of what was actually going on. Those people would have still been in jail because they're
Well, that's the
the
whole thing.
committee.
There still is. There still is.
Yeah, there still are. Yeah, but even like the committee, the bipartisan, which Liz
Yeah,
Cheney, she's not bipartisan.
yeah.
She's
Adam Kinzinger, he's not a.
yeah,
Uh,
they're not bipartisan. They're
no.
part of the left. They're part of their party. They're just Republican by name at this point. But
Hmm.
they were keeping evidence hidden. They were keeping videos away from the American citizens so we wouldn't know, so that they
And
could actually have this January 6th
the
boogeyman.
defense of the people, and the people need to keep it away from the people that
Yeah,
were arrested. You have people who took plea deals where if they would have had this evidence, they wouldn't have had to take any plea deal.
yeah. And January 6th is their boogeyman. It's what they always go back to. But see, this is what's very terrifying, right? About seeing the propaganda machine at work. You have over half of the country brainwashed to think that January 6th was what it wasn't.
Yep.
Meanwhile, they're completely like blinded by the BLM riots. They don't even want to acknowledge those. The rhetoric. Okay, I'm sorry. If it was both sides, there would be conservatives attacking the other party, and that's not the
Oh,
case.
and let's not forget the Steve Scalise shooting
Yeah. Oh,
when they
yeah. And then
shot
the
when
baseball. Yeah, the baseball. Was
the
that the
baseball
baseball one?
shooting. There was a baseball one where the guy was a Bernie Sanders supporter,
Yeah.
and when he shot them, he said something like, "This is for healthcare" or something like that.
Yeah. And then not just that. Oh man, I'm awful with names. He got attacked in his home. He's been attacked twice. A conservative, Ryan. No, was it? Oh man, what's his name? He's like, I can't remember his name, but his neighbor went into his home and attacked him, and he had broken ribs. And then they attacked him again.
Oh, you're talking about Rand Paul.
Rand Paul. There you go.
Yeah,
No,
his
no.
neighbor.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, his neighbor broke his ribs.
yeah. So we've had. It wasn't once, and then we've had Tucker Carlson. That they were trying to break into his home, and I believe it was him. And he was saying that his wife and his daughter were hiding, calling him terrified from inside their home.
Hmm.
Like this is,
That's why he moved to the middle of nowhere now.
yeah.
That's why he moved to the middle of nowhere, and I don't
So
blame him.
this is, and let's not even talk about the American citizens. I believe it was in Portland. There was a guy just walking with the MAGA hat, and he got shot point
Yep,
blank. And when
yep,
they were interviewing the Portland people, being like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" They're like, "Well, he shouldn't have been wearing that hat." Like no
yeah,
compassion for their American brother, nothing.
no,
The violence has been escalating and it has been normalized by the left.
yes,
And
and I think that's the problem. Here's the problem, and this is why it's getting worse. Is they want to say that all this right wing violence. I'm like, where? But when you give a pass to the left's violence, then it emboldens them to do more.
and see, here's the thing. Everyone right now, they're like, "Oh, this is going to lead to civil war." We're in it. Like I don't care what anyone says. We are in it right now.
Well,
We have
you
been in
don't
it for a
know.
few years.
Well, that's the whole thing. They say the Civil War started officially. I think it was just the Battle of Fort Sumter or something like that. But there was years of tension before that happened.
Yeah, and like you see the propaganda machine. You see,
No, she was about to probably make a good point. Uh,
um,
oh, there we go. She's
different.
back.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have been in a midst of a civil war for years now, because at the end of the day, if you take a step back, we
Hmm.
are really fighting for this country right now. It's literally you love this country, you love what it represents, and you want to preserve it, or you're trying to tear it down. And
Sorry.
those are literally the two stances. If that's not a civil war, what is?
No, you're. I mean, with what's going on, the problem is this is not this civil war is not like the our first civil war where you
We're
know
not fighting in the fields with muskets.
well
You know,
no,
I
it's not
think
even that. It's not even that. I'm talking about you know the civil war was based on geography.
hmm,
You know, there is the geography for this civil war is a family living room because you have people on both sides, and that's the it's ideological. That's the big difference because you got how many of your family members are still Democrats?
most.
Same. I'm going to try my hardest to convince them to, especially my relatives that live here in Pennsylvania, to vote for Trump. Because
I had a cousin post, when was America ever great? I was like, I don't know. When your dad and my mom left everything behind, actually, both of your parents left their country behind to come here for the opportunities it gave. I bet you they thought America was pretty fucking great then. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like it's ridiculous to me how you have so many. Like yesterday was Mexican Independence Day,
hmm
and don't get me wrong, I'm so proud of my heritage. But why are you waving that flag that didn't give you anything? Why are you not waving the flag of the country that has provided for you and your family and giving you guys all these opportunities and your children, because your children are also born of this country, right?
yeah.
And we have people who immigrate here and they send money over there. So this country is also providing for the family you have in another country.
Well,
But
that's the way it's always been. I mean, that's
exactly.
that's where they get their money from is the families that send money over there.
But
But that's the whole
but
thing.
you want to wave.
But we're so bad, and America's not great. It was never great.
It's so
But meanwhile,
racist. It's so
it's
racist.
so bad that everybody wants to move here.
Exactly. And that's it's so infuriating because you see that the country is on the precipice, right? You see communism, you see all these policies that reflect all the policies we ran away from. And you're so willing to vote for that. And you're so willing to want that without realizing, hey, that's why we left. That's why our family came here, because we didn't want that, right? But the media told you orange man bad.
Yeah.
So you're gonna vote for the same policies that you ran away from.
Watch. I'm going to bring this up because I always when we talk about when people talk about Marxism and communism, people don't really get what's going on right now in our country. And I'm trying to bring this up. It,
So
it's it's basically what the the communist revolution in China in the 60s, right? Was in the 60s
I don't remember.
during uh during Mao Zedong.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm bringing up the
Well, you
what
see
they
people who escaped China and escaped these communist countries, and they tell you this is how it started over there. We're seeing it repeat itself.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna read to you. I'm gonna read to you this, and you tell me how much this sounds on what's going on right now. Okay, I'm gonna actually, you know what? Let me put it on the screen so people could see. It's Wikipedia. It's not it's not a right wing source. It is. Hold up, here. Let me bring this. I'm gonna take us off just so people can see it full screen. So here, it's called the Four Olds. Now this how tell me how familiar, how eerie similar this sounds. The Four Olds were old ideas, old culture, old custom, and old habits. Okay, basically what it goes here: calls to destroy the four olds usually did not appear in isolation, but were contrasted with the hopes of the four news, new customs, new culture, new habits, new ideas. And like I said, this here is um It's not a left wing. I mean, it's not a right wing source. It's a left wing source.
It's Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Wikipedia. It's not, and what's going on right now? If you look what's going on right now in our country, what's going on? They're trying to hold on, I'm trying to put us back. Um, what are they trying to do with old ideas, old customs? Oh, well, gender is fluid now, and gender is all these thousand, there's thousand genders now, and it's like, are you kidding me? They're trying to destroy the family, which is a bedrock of which has been the bedrock of American society.
I
It's
mean, you
like,
saw that with Hitler's youth.
but you want to look at it. Look at the difference between Black America, okay, where they want to talk about how, yes, was racism bad in the 50s and the 60s? Yes, but the Black family was a strong institution during all those times.
They
They
had the Black Wall Street at that during that time. That
that was,
you
that
had
was way before. No, that was in the 20s.
no, but
That
I'm
was
but I'm saying when the family unit was strong.
Oh yeah, but it was more. It was longer than that because the Black Wall Street was burned down. That was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the 20s, I believe, or the
Yeah,
teens.
but what I'm saying is like the black culture back then, even though they were closer to slavery, they were succeeding so much more than they are now.
Yes.
Eh,
Oh yeah, but
But
it's
the
the
biggest,
family.
yeah, and the biggest, I guess, the biggest contrast from today is the fatherless homes. Back
Yeah.
then they were raised in like prominent, like it was your father was there, your mother, you had children. It
Mhm.
was and it's sad because you see it in the Latino community too. You see a lot of fatherless homes now, and it's kind of spreading. And as the more it spreads, more you get people who push these ideologies, and more that fall for it. That you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
decaying our country, it's decaying our morals and our values.
Yeah. No, definitely. You look at it when you have. I'm gonna out my daughter today. My daughter tells me this funny story today, and she goes, "Daddy, my friend told me that she has a girlfriend."
Mm,
And not like like a boyfriend girlfriend. And my daughter goes, but daddy, that's wrong. That's against the Bible.
yes.
And I'm just there like, my daughter's 7, mind you. My daughter's not, a teenager where she shouldn't be able to rationalize that. But it's kind of crazy that a 7-year-old's going, but daddy, that's wrong.
But see, I think that goes more with your home, right? Because my middle son is 8. So your
Mhm.
daughter's what, seventh, third grade? I mean, second,
She'll,
third grade.
she'll be 8 later this year.
So she's like in second or third grade, right?
Second, yeah.
Second, yeah.
Mhm.
My son is in third. And he came up to me. He goes, Mom, there's a girl in my class and she says she has a girlfriend. And I was, no, no, no. She said she said she's gay. I'm sorry. And I was like, buddy, at 8 years old, you don't even know what that means. Either the parent is pushing it or she's around people that are normalizing this behavior. So then they asked every kid to put in a baggie 3 things that identified them, right?
Mhm.
um, who they are so they could represent that to the class. He picked a head bow because he's all like, I'm a big brother to a baby sister. He picked Pokemon cards because he's like, I love Pokemon. And then he picked a cross because he goes, because I love God. And
Mhm.
then he comes to me, he goes, Mom, the gay girl told me she loves God, but you can't be gay and love God. And I'm just like, it's so crazy how they're so young, but they're rationalizing these things.
Mhm. Yeah, no, my daughter walks around with Jesus loves me like bracelet.
Hmm.
So, but I mean, but that's what's going on. You see what's going on and how they're changing the culture. That you know, with these new ideas, new customs. What is it? It's basically the color revolution of the United States. That's what we're going through right now. When history is written in 20 to 40 years, you know, it's going to say that this is when, either, well, hopefully that it wasn't successful and we win. If not, it's going to be, our kids are going to be learning, well, this is when our glorious leader started the revolution.
So I heard an analogy today and it was real. I didn't come up with it, okay, but it is so accurate. It's basically the communism analogy, right? And he was like,
Mhm.
okay, listen, say I found this cookbook by Carl's whatever Carl. He didn't use Marx, but he used his name
Yeah.
Carl. And then he goes, and in there it says you have the best chocolate cake that's going to bring peace and it's going to be utopia and it's going to be the best chocolate cake ever. So we go to like Tom's house and we shit in the pan and we put it in the oven because that's what the recipe says. It comes out, it tastes like shit. It doesn't work. Okay, so then we go to Ben's house. We shit in the pan and then we put it in the oven. It comes out. And we're like, no, it's not the recipe, it's the oven. It's the oven. And so then
Mhm.
they go to the third guy's house and he's like, well, what if it's the recipe? He goes, you're wrong. It's not the recipe, it's the oven. We have to shit in this pan and bake it. Like, you know what I mean? And that is literally, I was dying because I'm like, that is literally how this generation of communists thinks. It's not the book, it's not the ideas in the book, it's the leader, right?
No,
And so now you see this whole new generation of kids in America falling for it.
mhm. No, it's crazy. It's like my brother-in-law, you know, he'll deny being a socialist, but he goes, "I'm for the worker." And I'm like, "You want to tax the rich, you know, uh you want to own the means of production, you're a communist, you're a Marxist, you're a
And that's
socialist."
it's a slippery slope. That's what it starts with socialism and it works its way up, and people don't realize that.
But that's what Karl Marx said, that
Mhm.
socialism is the step before communism.
See, I have a son, my oldest. I have 3 kids. I mean, I'm sure I've said that here before. But, my oldest has a little sticker business. He makes stickers, and he makes cups and decals and skins for Nintendos and all that. So if anyone
Oh.
needs one, I know a guy. But, we were walking one day, and I'm talking to him about, "Look, in a capitalistic government, this is your business. These are your profits. You put money into whatever. Socialistic, this is how it works. Communist, and then like when we got to communism, he's like, "That's not fair." I was like, "Yeah, neither socialist." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
But
based,
that's why it doesn't but that's why people don't understand why it doesn't work. It's like if you know, if you work in a job, right? And you're busting your ass and someone's there sitting on his ass, right? And he gets a 10% raise and you get a 10% raise, what what's going to be your motivation next raise time to do anything?
and I think it goes a little bit beyond that because right now you have a lot of hatred toward the CEO, a lot of hatred toward the guy making
No,
the
no,
most
I
money.
get it. But I'm saying that this is what happened in the Soviet Union was
No,
because
yeah.
the fact that people were just like, well, I'm not gonna bust my ass, and when I know that I'm gonna get paid the same thing as it creates laziness.
Well, yeah, but along with the create like the laziness, you have to create that envy, no? So they could be like, "I'm
Oh,
for
of
the
course.
worker." And what the way I explain it to my kid is like, listen, when you start a business, you're the one putting all the money in, you're the one taking the risk, you're the one working your ass off to get it off the ground. Once you get a worker, yeah, they didn't do any of that, so you deserve most of the profits. I go, and if the business goes to shit, is the worker going to give you money for them? Like,
No.
hey, here's my part of the
Like,
check because it failed.
you ever seen the picture of um Jeff Bezos, how he started Amazon?
No,
He started like out of like his parents' garage.
I mean, wasn't that the way they all did back then? Bill Gates
Yeah, I mean
too,
the Apple
so all of
giant,
them.
Apple, yeah, yeah. That's what a
Mhm.
lot of people did because and one of the biggest crises right now is the whole thing of the skyrocketing housing costs is because that's basically um, the gateway to the middle class is owning your own home
Well,
because
and then
you
you have
always
Kamala. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say it's just you build up that equity. Even if you never sell the house, which we could that'll bring us to cap the
The
unrealized
capital.
gain.
Mhm.
But is the fact that let's say I keep this house for 30 years. I live here for I could pass it on to my daughter. That's that's however much house to be worth in 30, 40 years.
And then they have to pay taxes on that, even though they never sold the house.
And
It's
that's
just
the whole thing. Yeah. Well, no, and what's worse is you have the estate tax that will say,
hmm
let's say, let's say in 40 years, my house is worth $1 million. Now, when I pass it on to her, she has to pay taxes on a house that's worth $1 million, even though she probably has no cash.
But if you lose value in your home, they're not going to give you money for that. You know,
No, hell
and
no.
see, here's another. This is another lie that Kamala is working in as well, talking about the homes. How I'm gonna give you guys 25K to buy a home. Okay, the only thing that's gonna do is raise the house prices 25K. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, you're not
yeah,
really doing anything, and then that's gonna come out of our pocket. So now, not only are our homes more expensive, we're being taxed even more. And then when, like you said, now we're going to have this other tax on top of it if we make any type of profit. So the the American citizen is actually losing money at the end of the day.
uh, you know, while because we're gonna, I want to show this video because we're kind of off topic of what we were.
We always do that.
Always, we always do that, but for us, there's no such thing as segues. That
Okay, let's go back. Let's go back before you start the topic. Let's talk a little bit about the shooter, right? Because it was a second attempt.
second
Um,
attempt.
his name is Ryan Wesley Routh, and immediately FBI started cleansing his social media. There's a guy you could find him on TikTok. Oh man, I don't remember the name, but I'll pass it on to you, Carlos, and you could post it later.
Uh,
But he found out that one of the first people he followed and that followed him worked for the CIA, I believe. He
mm,
only had like 60, he only followed 60 people. Some of them were CIA. He worked with Ukraine. He donated to the Democrats. This guy was flying to Ukraine
19 times.
19 times.
19 times.
Yeah. This guy was flying to Ukraine. He was from North Carolina. He lived in Hawaii on about $3,000 a month, but somehow he was able to. I mean, I don't know about you, but tickets are expensive. Everything is so much more expensive. But he was flying to Ukraine. He was able to fly to Florida.
Oh, and more than that, I don't know if you have it there on your list of things. He was going into Pakistan to recruit fighters for Ukraine
yeah.
and helping them get fake passports from Pakistan.
So this guy who was on $3,000 a month, which is nothing in today's economy, you know what I mean, with inflation and everything, like 3,000, it doesn't go far anymore.
No.
He was able to do all this, get all these weapons. So he was working with somebody, whether it was Ukraine, because if you remember back to Hillary, Ukraine tried to interfere with the election with Hillary and Trump, right? So now
Mhm.
there's talks of maybe him working with Ukraine because he was already working with Ukraine to get fighters over there. And if you take
Mhm.
a step back from that and you look at it, Ukraine would have lost so much money because Trump's not going to be giving them all this cash. So
No.
they want
Oh,
Kamala.
in fairness, Putin would have never invaded Ukraine if Trump would have won.
Peace through strength. Yeah. So this
Mhm.
guy, there's just so many questions, just like with the previous guy. There's just a lot of unanswered questions, a lot of coincidences, like the BlackRock commercials, just a lot of
Mhm.
things kind of intertwining. And it's just
Well,
scary, because
what's interesting is, did you hear that DeSantis is
he,
ordering his attorney general to investigate it because basically he doesn't trust that this DOJ is going to, this DOJ wants to lock up Donald Trump. They don't want to protect Donald Trump.
yeah, and I admire him for that. I want to give props to Joe Biden because he actually said he wants to give Trump the security he needs. Whether that'll happen or not,
Eh,
I
the
don't know.
problem is the problem is not, I listen to Dan Bongino every day. So if you listen to him, you'll understand the problem is not necessarily Joe Biden. The problem is the
Is the state.
director of the Secret Service. It's like
Yeah.
they, they let the previous one resign, right?
But they just put the
And then, and then they just promoted the guy that was doing a shitty job to begin with. Also,
yeah, but back then Biden wasn't saying this. They actually didn't they just say, well, he doesn't get the security of a president because he's not one?
well, that wasn't Biden. That was someone else who
No,
said that.
yeah. So Biden stepped up and was something like, I'm gonna authorize him to give the protection he needs, which I wouldn't trust him. But after Biden put on that MAGA hat, I think he has a little bit of hatred toward the Democrats. So I'm leaning towards he might do it,
Who knows? I mean, that was pretty sabotaging of him. I'm like, I mean, I know he's senile and everything, but
The more you watch the
he
video,
knew what he was doing.
yeah, the more you watch the video, the more that it looks like he knew exactly what he was doing.
Oh yeah, I think that because what happened? Nancy Pelosi came to him and said, you're going to drop out. If not, we're going to 25th amendment you. That's basically what they probably told him.
Yeah, there's also rumors about the first letter where he dropped out that he didn't do it. It was his administration that went behind his back and did it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
So he's pissed, you know what I mean? And he's just I mean, if he's probably like, you know what, I'm gonna protect Trump. I wouldn't put it past him because he seems petty,
Oh yeah, no, he's very petty.
So there's a lot of information coming out. Also a lot of information being hidden, I think, to us that's not being told to us.
Oh yeah, so, I think that's why it's important that DeSantis started an investigation, because I trust that more stuff will come out with the Attorney General of Florida than Merrick Garland.
Yeah, so because how do you get within 300 to 500 yards and you're there hiding for 12 hours? So yeah, you're eating sandwiches there and and people are passing by. Explain that to me, So I think there's a lot of shadiness going on, just like with the first one. And I'm really curious about seeing these videos. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Ryan Wesley Routh, because we can't overlook he's a Democrat, you know what I mean? Regardless of what they said, he has very much Democrat ideologies.
Hold on, let me put this up here. I want to get your reaction on these. Let's see. Let's start with this one first, because this guy has been on CNN, like on fire on CNN. I'm surprised they still have him on.
An important conversation. How are they here legally? Because of executive action on immigration. I don't believe it is an attack on immigration.
Are you saying they don't have a right to be here when
do you know what temporary protected status is, and do you not agree with it?
No, I think most Republicans do not believe that the executive branch or the officers of it should be able to wave what J.D. Vance correctly calls a magic wand so people can circumvent the normal immigration process.
You have the mayor and the governor saying that these businesses needed workers.
I looked at this around for a long time.
Ohio businesses needed workers.
Most Americans think we need less immigration, not more. Most Americans think we need a process, and there is a legitimate conversation to be had about how cities on the border, in Ohio, in New York, and everywhere else are being expected to absorb large populations. That doesn't mean the populations are inherently bad or the people are inherently bad or that they don't provide value. But when you put huge numbers of people in communities and they begin to have impacts on the policing system, the healthcare system, the roads, whatever, the school, whatever it is, and then you just say to the communities, good luck. I think Americans have a right to a debate about this, and this is what the Democrats don't want to have.
No,
they think it's fine, and the Republicans want to talk about why we have an insane immigration system that cannot be controlled and reformed in a way that would make people think, okay, we actually have a process and it's under control instead of being out.
That's where you're exactly wrong. Kamala Harris has a wonderful affordable housing policy, and if you guys are really worried about housing for these new Americans, then we should probably support her plan. Have you read it? It's actually pretty good. You're saying that you want to process temporary protected status is a process. Now, you might not like the process, but it's a process that has been used by Democratic presidents and Republican presidents. If there is a problem, if there is a problem, I think temporary protected status, which is something that we give to people when their countries are in crisis, is not just right, it is moral. Okay. So if you really think that there is a problem onboarding these new Americans into our communities, then I think we should all support more affordable housing being built all across this nation, because we certainly have the space.
Let me ask her.
In a month.
What's the electoral play here?
Did you catch what that idiot was saying? Did you hear him?
Yeah. So here's they're inflating these countries in crisis to what is happening now. Yes, we have always, America is a wonderful country. It has a welcoming heart. We help so many people. We always have. It's time after time again. It's America helping other countries, right? And we do have immigrants who need help. We do have people in other countries who are being persecuted. Who, let's help them. But that is being inflated with what is happening in the border. That is not the same thing. This is an invasion.
But did you hear what he said? He referred to them as new Americans.
Oh no, I missed that.
Yeah, he referred to them as new Americans. It's like they haven't even been here a year, and you're already calling them new Americans
because they need voters.
Well, here's the whole thing. The crazy thing, what I was found out about that stuff that's going on in Springfield, Ohio, is those technically aren't illegals. They're technically legal.
Yeah. They're protected. They're protected. Go ahead.
No, that's what I'm saying. That it's called protected status. I don't know what's
Yeah, they're protected.
Between that and asylum.
But still, you have to think about what that does to our country, right? You can't bring in just the state, just this city. They brought in 20,000 in a city of like 50. That's about half. What is that going to do to the city? What is that going to do to? Yes, it's overwhelming hospitals and schools. Okay, let's think about just the children. The children in these schools don't speak English are now being taken all the help and advantage from actual Americans, right? So this is what will happen in the whole city, and now it's going to progress, and it's going to happen in the country. What happens when you bring in, what is it, over 30? We brought in more illegal immigrants than 30 states?
Something like that. If you 20, it depends on which number you use. Even if you use the low number of 12 million, it's, you're talking about the size of LA.
So that's going to change that. And LA is bigger than a lot of states, the population itself.
Oh, yeah,
so
no.
That is changing the demographic of the country. Not just that, it's changing the culture. I used to talk a lot about how when we come here, we come here for the opportunities, but we don't take the time to learn about why those opportunities are here, right? We don't understand this. Now I do, but I'm saying, if you come here first, you don't understand your freedom of speech because your country doesn't have it. You don't understand the Second Amendment because your country doesn't have it. You don't understand the history of this country, so you don't learn to love and appreciate it. You bring in all your values from your other country that don't understand why the Second Amendment is so important. They don't want guns. They don't understand why we have freedom of speech. They're changing the culture of the country. You have millions of people coming here that do not understand why we have the values that we have, and they are going to slowly start transforming this country.
It's a good. I'm going to bring up another video if it'll come up, because it's funny that you talked about that these people, they don't understand the First Amendment. I don't know if you heard that Hillary came out of hiding. Halloween's about to come out, so she has to make an appearance.
So really quick about that, she came out and said that American citizens should be arrested for sharing fake news or whatever.
Yes, that's what I was trying to
bring up. For Russiagate? Does that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was
the one who started it.
Yeah, so can we arrest her? Let's go all the way back to Obama. She's the one that started the birth certificate thing and blame Trump for
Yeah,
it.
people when they started that. Yep. No,
Like time
but
and
it's
time
also-
again.
they talk about what's misinformation, disinformation. Well, what about 51 intelligence officers saying that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation?
Well, we
What?
see it time and time again.
Are
Anything that the
you gonna lock
conservative,
them up? No.
exactly. The COVID vaccine,
Yeah.
China, Wuhan, the Wuhan lab.
Yeah.
Well, they called us conspiracy theorists, dude. The cats being cooked in Springfield. There's videos of it. There's like literal
Right.
videos.
And the thing is, it's from a year ago. It's not even from now. It's from a year ago.
It
And
is. It's wrong.
crazy.
And then okay, I will say this about Trump. I didn't see any dogs, Trump. Okay, so I'll call you out on that. But there were cats. And then
Yeah.
the mainstream media is like, it looks like a chicken. Yo, I don't know what kind of chickens you're eating, but that does not, no, it does not look like a chicken.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, are you serious? I can't bring up the Hillary clip.
Yeah, Hillary,
But who wants to see Hillary anyway?
I'm sorry. I'm a woman. I think women, we can be, look, there's things we do that you men can never do. We are so much more powerful than you guys in other ways. You guys are stronger than us. You guys should be the man of the house. You guys should take that role. We should follow your lead. You know what I mean? Like, but there's things that we do that you never could, and women have to take pride in that. I am so proud to be a woman.
We're not
But
meant to be. God didn't create us to be competitors. God created us to be complementary to each other.
Yes. And the thing about these women is like, it's embarrassing to have these women in power, and like we're supposed to vote for them just because of what's between their legs. No, like it's so sad that you have these women who they think what makes you powerful is aborting your children. What makes you powerful is you diminishing the position of a man. And it's like, no, that's not the case. Neither, like right now, Kamala's main running point is women's rights. What rights to like our womb? Because that doesn't even belong to us. Like the thing that makes women the most powerful is giving birth. It's creating life.
Yeah.
And you're trying to diminish that position. You know what I mean? So these women in power, they're so embarrassing.
Well, I mean, look at the DNC. They had a mobile abortion van. It's like someone said, and I kind of agree with it. It's like child sacrifice at the DNC. Because what are you doing? You're bowing at the altar of abortion on demand.
I heard someone say the Democrats don't create; they indoctrinate.
Well, that's the whole thing. They're not having children. Conservatives are the ones having children, and that's the whole problem. The problem is, yes, they can indoctrinate your children if you don't raise them right.
Mm-hmm.
If you raise them right, like what our kids have, what our kids told us, it's like, okay, even though, in a couple of years before she gets into middle school, I'm probably going to put her. There's a local Christian school that's the church that I go to. The worship leader is a teacher there. So thinking about when maybe like 2 or 3 years put her in that Christian school.
And my child right now is in middle school. My oldest, he's in public school, and it's terrifying. Luckily he is very conservative. He loves Donald Trump. He loves this country. And I think it's because we have implemented that from a very young age, to be very grateful for what this country offers. And he comes home and he literally tells me, like, he has a teacher who's like, out of nowhere, she's like, my son is gay. So if anyone is talking badly about the gay community, you guys are going to go to the principal's office. And I'm like,
I would have like, can I go to the principal's office? I want a new teacher.
Well, that's the thing. He's in advanced classes. He's all advanced classes, and those are limited. So, but
then I would report that to the principal.
Yeah, I will. I actually told my husband, I was like, you know what, we're gonna let that one slide. And then he came back the next week, and he was like talking about symbolism. And he's all like, the teacher said that the rainbow used to symbolize hope, but now it symbolizes the gays. And I was like, no, the rainbow symbolizes the promise that God made us, that he would never destroy the earth again.
Well, he would
And
never
like,
destroy it by flood again.
yeah, by flood again. Yeah. So I was like, yes, it is about hope. I go, but they're trying to take that away from the Christians. I go, and I'm a baby Christian. Okay. I just recently started going to church. I was raised Catholic and I kind of took a step back, but my kids are very, very Christian faith, very Christian based. And I think a lot of that also has to do with the love for this country. It is a Christian based country.
Well, when you don't do like denominational churches, then I mean, you got some bad non-denominational churches too, but I find some of these like like there's a Methodist church that I drive by that has a rainbow flag on display on their bulletin, and I'm just like, yeah, if that's what you're displaying instead of about a godly message, then I know where your church stands. I
See,
know that you're the wolf in sheep's clothing.
this was one of my concerns when I started getting comfortable with the church. I went to the pastor and I was like, listen, these are my concerns. I know that a lot of churches are doing this. This is not what I want my children to learn. He's like, that is not what we do here.
Oh, well, let me tell you, in my at the church I go to, if you're a Democrat, I don't know what you're doing there. Like, you must be a glutton for punishment because, I mean, don't get me wrong. He doesn't say, I mean, I know he's going to vote for Trump, but he doesn't like the Republicans much either. But he even said it. He said one day, he goes, there's no way a Christian should be voting Democrat.
Yeah.
There's no
Agreed.
way, just on abortion alone, Christians shouldn't be voting Democrat.
Which is so interesting because you see these people that are Christian, Taylor Swift, Stephen Curry, and they're like, we're voting Kamala because of women's rights. And it's where you're Christian. You claim to be a Christian. You cannot be a Christian and vote for murder.
I 100% agree. I think, especially I was surprised with Steph Curry because Taylor Swift, she's been doing that.
Her
But
whole
like,
it was bullshit. Her whole little I did my research. No, you didn't. You've
No, you
been
didn't.
spewing Democrat shit for like
I mean, the
6
whole thing
years.
about it is, I mean, you're talking about, her most popular songs about her bad choice in men, her bad life decisions, but she's the one that's gonna tell you, who to vote for. And it's like,
Listen, this girl sells her tickets for hundreds of dollars. All right.
Yeah.
She takes her private jet everywhere. She's not at the grocery store being like, am I gonna have to buy off brand because the other one's a whole dollar? I need to make ends meet. She's not looking at the gas being like, dude, do I have enough gas for the week to get to work? Like, she's not looking at these life
No.
choices that Kamala's administration put in place. Right?
That's all part of it. Yeah, no, all these rich celebrities, this economy hasn't affected them. They
At all?
don't know. They don't know what the price of a gallon of milk is. Like 5 years ago, when I first moved out here to PA, I was paying like, what was it? Like three something, like 325, 330 for a gallon of milk. Now it's like I switched from whole to 2% because it's like 30 cents cheaper. So instead of paying $4.50 for whole milk, I pay $4.20.
Yeah, well, I'm a home baker, right? My cakes used to be $65. They still are because I haven't really base price because I haven't raised prices. Meanwhile, I'm paying double for the ingredients. Like eggs, butter, flour, like all that adds up.
Yeah, no, I know. It's like for me, it's coming. Coquito season's coming up, so I sell coquito.
Yeah, you have to raise the prices.
Do you know what coquito is?
Yeah,
okay.
drink. Yeah,
It's a
for
Puerto
the
Rican
holiday
eggnog.
drink. The holiday drink.
Yeah, it's Puerto Rican eggnog, no eggs.
Yeah, you need to send me the recipe because I don't think I've ever had it.
I'll do you better. I'll send you a bottle.
Oh, okay, I'm down. I'm not gonna say no, but yeah, like these celebrities are not living in reality. You know?
No, not at all. And I think like the problem that's going on and what everything is, just to circle back to what this whole the whole video is about, you know, the second attempt at Donald Trump's life is, even with the celebrities, they all they all walk lockstep in their talking points with talking about, you know, Trump's the orange Hitler, you know, orange man bad, and all this and all that. And then they go, well, you know, we don't understand why, you know, people would, you know, would want to attack Trump. And it's like, you
And
sons of a bitches.
here's
Sorry.
such a hypocrisy about celebrities, right? Um, George Floyd happens, BLM riots. Oh, every single one turns their little profile picture black, a black square. Syria, I stand with Palestine, whatever. Trump gets assassinated. There's two. I'm sorry. I'm not going to win because we don't want that to happen. There's an assassination attempt on Trump, not once, but twice. And they are media silent. Freaking crickets. They don't say anything. And one woman did. She's an actress. And she came out and she wasn't even speaking about Trump. She was saying, you know, like she reposted Melania's statement, how he's a father, he's a grandfather. We're hurting. You guys need to remember that he is human.
Yeah.
And she got attacked for sharing that.
Well, Don Lemon mocked her for it, and then he posted it and then deleted it because he was getting roasted for it.
Yeah, it's like these people that supposedly are so much more moral than us, have such bigger hearts than us, are celebrating the fact that not only was there an attempt, they're mad that they didn't get him.
Yeah, I want to play on this point. I want to play this video so you could actually finish seeing it and see if I'll play.
2 days since somebody allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again. And you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat. How many more assassination attempts on
Can you put the
Donald Trump,
volume up?
the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question. The question that you're asking, it is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it, because American people are watching. And to say that from a administration who has consistently condemned political violence, from an administration where the president called the former president and was grateful that he was okay, from an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi, called out and said we need to lower the temperature after the Butler incident. And now for you to make that kind of comment in your question, because your question involved a comment and a statement. And, you know, it is, that is also incredibly dangerous.
So it's incredibly dangerous to point out that just 2 days ago, someone tried to kill him again, and you guys are still with the same damn talking points.
Oh, I love how she said from this administration that called out January 6th.
Yeah. Like I
Dude.
said, like we said, that's all they have.
And there was what's his name? He was one of the whistleblowers for one of the impeachments. His wife came out.
Wait, don't say his name. Because YouTube will kill the whole video.
No. Not him. Was it him? But anyways, his wife came out with a tweet and she said, "Don't worry, no ears are harmed." And I'm like,
that's the guy. That's the guy. You're not allowed to say his name, so don't say it.
So let's go back. Let's go back to the first assassination attempt. Time magazine had on the cover this powerful photo. I think this photo, like it oh God, it made me so proud to be an American. It made me like teary eyed because I was so proud of this man who gets shot. Yes, he gets up and he puts his fist up. And I think it doesn't matter what political side you're on, that photo represents America. We are strong. We are powerful. We do not. It was 9/11. It was like 9/11 when George Bush came out and said that they're not going to keep us down. We're going to come out and attack them. You know, so everyone cheered. That was his 9/11 moment.
Yeah, even Mark Zuckerberg said, you know, that it was badass what he did.
I think, like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Like, because it's such a powerful moment, not just as a president, but as a country, you know, because they tried to take him down and he stood up and he was like, he's like, you ain't gonna take me down. And every American was like, hell yeah. Because he knew that he had to make that stance to make his supporters know that he was okay, you know? And immediately that image was gonna be in the Time magazine cover. And one of the editors said, no, it'll make him look too good. So they took it off and they just put an empty stadium with the flag. After the first attempt, they tried to say that, first of all, they said it didn't happen. They said it was just an incident.
Yeah.
And then they said it was glass from the protection screen that got him. Then they said it was fake blood that he smeared it on himself. They tried to diminish the story as much as they could.
Yeah.
Second attempt, literally, there's if you go to the Trump website, he has quotes of the rhetoric from before and after. Are you going on it now?
Yeah, I'll go on it now.
Yeah, and I'll let you read some of the ones that they said after his attempt. But the rhetoric, they're trying to blame him. They're trying to normalize it. There was an article, I believe in Texas, that basically tried to make the shooter look like a hero.
I heard about that. I'm like, that's disgusting.
It is insane. And they have the fucking audacity. I'm sorry, I'm really worked up right now. They have the audacity to blame conservatives and Trump. And then they keep bringing January 6th. I am sorry. But if you spend almost a whole decade demonizing an individual, calling them Hitler, saying that he is a threat to democracy constantly, you work up, not just that, you literally lie and gaslight the Fine People hoax. Everything he said and does, the media manipulates it and tries to give an alternative reality. So they have literally brainwashed and manipulated their supporters to the point of hatred. They compare this man to Hitler. The Cook, the last assassin guy, he was a young kid. He was in middle school when they started demonizing Trump.
Yeah.
So now they have a whole generation of people who have known nothing but to hate this man. And they have the audacity to blame Trump. Like, I think right now is a time for self-reflection. I have a lot of respect for Chris Cuomo, who came out and apologized to Trump. And he actually gave a very passionate speech.
I didn't see the whole thing. I gotta find it. I just saw like a little clip of it where he said, he said, what was it he said? Damn, I forgot what he said. But I was just there like, I was like, wow, you know, maybe he'll actually vote for him.
No, he won't. He said he would never vote for him. But just
God forbid, what if they try a third time and it pisses him off too?
Well, here's the thing. Every single journalist in America should take a page out of Chris Cuomo's book.
Cuomo.
Every single one.
Cuomo. Just sorry.
Cuomo. What else? I don't know. I don't. You know what I mean?
I'm from New York, and his father was actually a good Democratic governor.
Yeah, he was a governor.
You know, he was a Democrat, but he wasn't. You're talking about a Democrat from the 80s, not a Democrat from today.
Well, we grew up in the early 2000s, 90s. Even Democrats back then were not what they are now.
Oh yeah, no. Bill Clinton Okay, 92 or 96. If his platform, if he tried to run for president right now with that platform, he'd have to run as a Republican.
What was his slogan again? Make
Uh,
America Great Again.
what? No, that was Reagan.
No, that was Clinton. Clinton had pins that said "Make America Great Again."
He did. Because I could have swore I thought it was Reagan also.
I'm pretty sure. I could put money on it.
Let's double check this because I could. For some reason, the site's at being very slow.
Look up Bill Clinton, "Make America Great Again."
Well, hold on. Let's see. Who was first to use?
No, it might have
Make-
been Reagan. It might have been Reagan, but I remember seeing
Okay.
Clinton say
I,
it.
I know Reagan for sure used it.
Look
Okay,
up
so
Clinton. Clinton saying it too.
let's see. Bill Clinton make America great again. Clinton make America great again. It says here 1998. Maybe it was he said it in a speech.
Maybe, but yeah, I remember him like I thought it was on those little pins that people wore that said it. It's like Clinton make America great again or something.
Bill Clinton vowed to make America great again in 92. Now says, okay, there you go. Former Bill Clinton says Donald Trump's Make America Great Again slogan is racist, despite using the exact phrase himself several times during his 1992 presidential campaign. So so he did use it, but not like, as prominent as, like Trump makes that his,
The slogan. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say I saw like the little metallic pins people clip on their shirts. I want to say I saw him wearing that or something like that. But
Let me
yeah,
see if I see images. No, there's nothing that comes up. All right. All right, let's see if I can find this thing one more time. Okay, here we go. Should I go to news probably?
no, it was on his political website.
Oh, True Social.
Yeah,
Oh,
was
okay.
it?
You said website.
Yeah. So while you look that up, did you see the statement JD Vance said?
Which one? Which statement
I
about?
shared it on my Facebook. I think we're friends now. But he came out
Yeah.
with this like essay long thing, and everything was a nail in the head.
Oh, I think someone. I think it was. I listened to Tim Pool also, and I think he read it. And I remember going because he was talking about like at first how people didn't, like JD Vance, and it looks like JD Vance was just what the campaign needed because you can't like let's say as much as I liked as much as I liked Vivek, they're two fireballs.
JD's growing on you, huh?
He's grown on me,
Yeah. Yeah,
he's
like,
fiery. He's fiery without overdoing it.
I actually didn't hear much about him until he started running, and the more he's on TV, the more I like him. He
Well,
does amazing on this. Go ahead.
the only reason I knew about it was his book. I knew he had wrote a book, and they made a movie out of it.
Yeah,
I still
but
haven't
he's
seen yet.
amazing. He's amazing against the liberal media. He
Mhm.
this statement. I copied and pasted it on my Facebook. It is so powerful. It literally talks about everything from the assassination Trump to censorship to like it's so long. But I think that he just spoke so eloquently what so many Americans were saying. And in that he talks about how they're talking about demonizing him and Donald Trump because they don't want to talk about Kamala Harris's failures. And
No,
they're like,
that's exactly.
and you really need if you are watching, you really need to go read that because it so clearly states what is happening in this country right now. Did you find it?
No, sorry, I had to sneeze. It's very unprofessional to sneeze or cough on camera. That's what the mute button is for. So he posted this earlier today, or was it something he posted yesterday?
Oh, I forgot who shared it. It was after the assassination attempt. It was about the rhetoric. It is on one of his Trump websites. Though I think the
Well,
one
no,
of the Marine.
I'm on True Social, so
It's
I'm going.
I believe it's on his campaign website. Where it talks about donating and everything. He put a segment on there where it talks about the rhetoric that they spoke before and the rhetoric after. Hold on.
Okay,
I'm gonna turn off my camera real quick while I go look for this. Hold on, give me a sec.
go ahead.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, so let me.
Oh wait, whatever you did, now I can't. So I'm here trying to find this story that I'm trying to pull it up so I can read. If I can't find it, then so happens when you go live. F it, we're gonna go live. Who said that? That's the famous Bill
Okay.
O'Reilly clip.
Hold on your Instagram messages. I sent you a screenshot that I took.
Okay. Let me go on. I'm going instant. Who is it? Who was it who shared it?
I don't remember. I want to say Tim Pool, but I'm not 100% sure. It could have been Bet David.
Okay. Because it was a pretty long list because I had saw someone share it on Instagram too, but I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, let me know when you open it. But there were multiple sections, and I some of the most recent ones I was like kind of blew my mind.
Oh, come on. It's like I keep forgetting to call the cable company. It's like I don't know if it's that or maybe, I need to get the computer clean. I mean, my Mac is already 4 years old, but they're usually pretty good.
I have a tablet. I need to start. My son took over it, so I need to start. I need to get it and put all my apps and all my socials on there so we could do like double streaming.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I got two phones. It's like 1, 2. I got
So
this
I'm
is my
poor. I
old
haven't
phone.
got one.
What happened? Well, no,
I'm
this
poor.
is
I
my
haven't
old.
got one.
This phone is like what 3 or 4 years old. So then I got my new phone. I mean, it still works fine, but it was getting the memory was getting full on it.
I have a
Okay.
computer. It's so slow. I don't really use it, and I have a
Oh,
tablet and I have my phone. So if we
oh,
really
wow.
need to, I could like set everything up. But
Wow, the picture you sent, yeah. So it was this screenshot. Where did you get the screenshot from?
I want to
Someone
say
sent it?
I want to
Someone's
say with Tim. I want
no,
to say with
this
Tim.
was in the background, but so it's the Trump. It's on the Trump website. Okay, let me go to the Trump.
I did not realize how blurry it was.
Yeah, it's very bad. I
Yeah,
can't see it. It's so small. It's like
yeah.
it's like if I try to show it this way, watch. I'll
You won't
just
see
so you
anything.
can
No, yeah.
no.
Listen, I really like Tim Pool. I think it's because he's a Democrat like I was. I think we relate a lot to him because a lot of people are like, "You're a cult. You're in a cult. You're so far up Trump's ass," and it's like we could say when Trump is wrong. We could say when
Exactly.
Republicans are wrong. We have no problem with that. But like the left doesn't want to hear it.
No, not at all. That's the whole thing. I laugh when they go, "We're in a cult," but what's their slogan? Vote blue no matter who.
No matter who.
And
I
it's
got
like,
someone tell me. I
how
had
much
someone
more
tell me
focus
like,
can you get than that?
yeah, I had someone tell me like, "Oh, why are you so in love with Trump?" I go, "No, no, no. I'm not in love with Trump. I don't idolize him. I'm in love with what he's doing for this country." You know, there's a
Mhm.
big difference between the two. And it's so crazy because I've only known two people that voted for Trump and then switched parties. And both of them ended up marrying liberal ass women and became beta ass males. So
There you go. It's like that's it's a common thing to see. Let's see. Maybe if I go to platform, maybe that'll um you see all the men in the Harris campaign, they're all beta males. Her
every
husband, her VP pick. I mean, you can't get more beta than that guy. That guy,
so
it's
listen,
like
if I find out that you're voting Democrat, I automatically do not view you as an alpha. I
listen,
automatically do not view you as manly. I think you give me beta ass energy. And I'm sorry, there's just not, you're like a cook. Like, wait, right? Did I say that right? Cook.
a cuck.
Yeah, a
That's
cuck, whatever. You give me this energy that's just like, I'm embarrassed for you. If I were a man, I'd be so embarrassed for you. I would like, man, I can't. Anytime I see a man that's like, I'm a Democrat, I'm just like beta.
oh, and every time I hear beta, I think of what's his name? Jesse Lee Peterson, I think his name is. It's a
Mhm.
Moreno.
Yeah, I don't. You know
He's
what? Like,
funny as
there was a girl today, and she was just like, she was. They shared her TikTok, and she was like, "Why is it that every true collar guy is a Trumper? They're conservatives." Like, yeah, because they're manly men. Like they, like most. We don't. I don't understand this generation of guys who wear dresses and wear makeup and can't.
I don't. I like. I I dressed up as a girl for a school for a grade because I needed it to pass. It's
My husband dressed up like a fat Playboy bunny one Halloween,
no, I
but
didn't do it for
he did
Halloween.
it
I did
as
it
a
for.
joke. He did it as a joke, okay?
It's okay. It's okay.
And
It's a
he's a
safe space
Marine,
here.
so you know Marines, they're manly guys with a gay sense of humor.
Yes, I know. But my cousin is a Marine, so who he lives now in Virginia now.
Nice. Virginia's beautiful.
Okay. No, but he lives
Did you
at
find
like
it?
near DC. Okay. Yes. Here we go.
Perfect.
Let me see. Is this one better or this one better? No, this one's better. Okay. All right. Let me bring it up, and then we're gonna end it here because I was
Yes,
looking at. And okay, you know what? I'm gonna take us out of the picture so it
that's
could be
fine.
a little bit bigger. Okay, here we go.
This is
So
everything that was said before. He's a threat to
yeah,
democracy.
he goes, Kamala Harris repeatedly, Trump is a threat to our democracy and fundamental freedoms. Kamala, it's on us to recognize the threat Trump poses. Um, I think that one's stupid. So I'm not, I'm gonna read the ones I find interesting. It's time to put Trump in a bullseye, Joe Biden. And Joe Biden, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Trump is a threat to this nation. Joe Biden, there is one existential threat. It's Donald Trump.
And
Trump,
again, you guys, this is before his recent assassination attempt.
yes. But even then, Karine Jean Pierre was still calling him a threat at the news conference today.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim Waltz, Republicans are a threat to democracy. Yes, they're going to put people's lives in danger. Trump, Nancy Pelosi, Trump is a threat to our democracy of the kind that we have not seen. Representative Jasmine Crockett, MAGA in general, they are threats to us domestically.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Goldman, he's Trump is destructive to our democracy and he has to be eliminated. I don't know who that. Liz Cheney, Trump presents a fundamental threat to the republic, and we are seeing it on a daily basis. Like, really? Representative Steve Cohen, Trump is an enemy of the United States.
Let me
Maxine
remind you
Waters.
guys, Trump
happened?
already served. Let me remind you guys, Trump already served as president 4 years. He was never a threat to democracy. If anything, they're going to say January 6th, but we know that's bullshit. But while he was president, the country had never been as successful in my whole lifetime.
I'm surprised he didn't bring up any of the calling him the Hitler and all that stuff. Trump Republicans are a dangerous threat to our state. Trump is a threat to our democracy. Trump is an essential threat to American democracy. So, I mean, oh well, here's more.
And these are the new ones.
Can't say that name. They talked about no ears were harmed. Carry on with your Sunday afternoon. The last thing America needed was sympathy for the devil, but here we are.
That one.
That one's
And he was a representative. He's in Congress?
He's a state rep in Colorado. His name is Stephen Woodrow. Alex Witt, NBC. Do you expect there to be calls from within the Trump campaign to tone it down? Like, really? It goes here. Philip Bump, The Washington Post, where democracy dies in darkness. Another chance for Trump to frame Democrats as dangerous has emerged. David from The Atlantic. Trump and his running mate have spent the past week successfully inciting violence. Today, they want to present themselves as near victims of violence.
Okay, real quick on that. They're trying to blame Trump and JD Vance for bomb attacks that actually ended up being from a whole different country. So Trump and Vance had nothing to do with it.
No, I know.
That's what he's referring to.
No, I know. But thanks for pointing. Yeah, but just in case if people didn't know, Bloomberg. I don't know if that's the newspaper or the politician, but it put Trump seizing on assassination attempt. So
I want to bring attention to the last thing we need is sympathy for the devil. Yet here we are. That is what the Democrats have to say after another individual tried to assassinate Trump, the second assassination attempt in less than 60 days. And they are referring to him as the devil and him needing sympathy. And yet they're trying to say that conservatives, MAGA, and Trump are the problem.
There you go. Yeah, that's what it was. Let me see if that was the hyperlink to the guy's picture so we could see the real devil.
That's just evil. That's evil within their hearts. Like, I'm a mother and my children, they don't like Joe Biden. They're military brats. All right. We're very honest with them. They know about Kabul. They know about his stances. And I tell them, we never wish death on anybody. We want them to be healthy. We want them to, you know what I mean? Like, even Joe Biden. I felt bad for him when they were parading him around. This is a senile old man. You know what I mean? Like,
it was elder abuse. It was elder abuse.
Yes. The difference between Republicans, conservatives, and the liberals is that we're not evil. In our hearts, we are not evil.
Well, that's because, for the most part, we're Christians.
But what do you expect, honestly? What do you expect from the party that preaches that we should be able to murder our children up until birth? You can't expect, if you don't have sympathy for your own children, how can you have any for anybody else?
That's, sacrificing your children to Moloch.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you don't even...
It's nothing new.
If you can't have sympathy for something of your own blood that you create in your own womb, you are going to have no sympathy for anybody else. And that's why you see so many liberals, so many of these part of the LGBTQ community doing school shootings. These people are not taught to value life. From the womb, to schools, to Donald Trump. They just see it as an inconvenience that they want to get rid of.
I know that's the problem is when you don't have respect for life, it all stems from there. It's like it's easier to dehumanize people. It's like you start with it starts with Trump, and then anybody who supports him now, you're less than human. Like, how many times on post I've been called a maggot, the MAGA and then TS maggots. I'm like,
So a couple
oh,
years ago, somebody wished death on me, and it was so shocking. I started crying, and I was with my family, and I'm reading comments, and I read that, and I was like, I just started crying, and I just couldn't fathom that somebody could wish death on someone they never knew. Like, I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm ultimately a good person. Yeah, I may be feisty and I might disagree with you. I go, but the fact that you would wish me to kill myself because um of my stances because they differ than yours, that is
oh,
insane.
oh yeah. That's why when I wear my Trump hat, I have my Puerto Rican flags on it. So like that, if I get some dumb ass white person that wants to say something stupid, it's like, hey, 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 you're talking to a person of color, so you need to shut up.
Basically, you kind of have to flip it on them. But it's
I
just
always do. I always do.
ultimately, I just think it's very heartbreaking where the country is right now.
Yeah.
It's not even about being divided. I don't see how we could make peace with someone that wishes death on us.
Yeah.
It's I don't see a fix. Um, and unfortunately, I think conservatives need to have a stronger backbone.
Yeah.
Um, we need to be able to push back. And I'm not saying with violence. I'm saying a lot of us are still too scared to speak up. A lot of us are still hiding.
Well, if Christians, okay, this is the whole thing. Christians don't vote. Okay, if all the Christians went out and voted, would it solve all the problems? No, but it would help with a lot of them.
So this is my issue with the Christian community. Um, you guys are being put on the sidelines. You guys put yourselves on the sidelines.
Yes.
And the thing is, by doing so, you have kind of made the situation in this country worse. Yes, ultimately there is one God. Ultimately, He is a King of Kings. Ultimately, that he's it doesn't matter what any politician does, what anyone does. We know the end result. You know what I mean? We know what's going to happen. And I understand your viewpoint. This is temporary. Um, and whatever politician is there, they're not our true leaders. However, what is it going to take for you to protect life? Because at the end of the day, like, Jesus didn't come here a peaceful man. He wasn't here like all peace and love. You know what I mean? Like
Oh well, yeah. No, people forget. Because the left have bastardized Jesus, and bad kind of word to use, but it's like they've made him like this hippy dippy love, love is love type of person. And no, he didn't tell Mary Magdalene, keep being a prostitute. It's okay. God loves you. You
how
know, he didn't tell the sinner, he didn't tell the adulterer, oh, well, keep on, fornicating and keep on being an adulterer. No, he told her, I forgive you. Now go and sin no more. And that's the
he
whole thing.
yes, he sat and ate with sinners. He sat
Yes,
and ate with the exiles of the communities or whatever.
yes,
But he did so to transform them. He did
yes.
so to show them a new way. He didn't do so and be like, all right, well, guess what? You're a prostitute. We're gonna eat and you're gonna go about your no, he transformed her.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what a lot of people, a lot of Christians today don't realize. Like, okay, yes, be a Christian. I tell my kids, we love everybody because we should. But in loving so, you also want to save your brothers from the alternative to heaven, from the alternative to being with your Christ. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
how
right.
how can you call yourself a Christian when you're standing there and you're constantly seeing the execution of children? And you're just like, I can't speak up because, you know, I'm a Christian. No, because you're a Christian, you should be trying to protect these lives.
Should be the first one to speak out.
So yeah, so I think that that's my issue with the Christian community. Like, we need to stop being so passive because Jesus didn't come here a passive man.
No, I you know, he, he was pretty radical for his time. It wasn't,
Mhm.
they like to say he preached a radical love, but his radical love wasn't absent of morals. That's what they don't get. It's like I said, he didn't say, love the sinner, let them continue in their sin. It's like you can't get people to be moral. You can't get people to change their ways. They have to do it themselves.
Mhm.
But you could give them a helping hand. You could
You
teach them
teach them.
the way, because if you don't inform them, then who will? If you don't vote for good people, if you don't pay attention, then evil's going to win anyway.
And we have to remember that he left his disciples to keep his work going. And
Mhm.
that included the ugly, you have to be able to save your brothers. What's that saying? I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna murder it. But how does he say he's all like, if you know what's right and you lead them into doing what's wrong, the penalty is gonna be worse for you in the long run. You know what I'm talking
Uh,
about?
yes, I think that which is the one. There's a couple of different there's the one where he talks about the children. If you hurt the children, it'd be better that you tie a millstone on your neck
No, but it
and
was
jump
another
in the
one.
water.
But yeah, but ultimately what he's saying, he's like, if you know that's wrong and you're still allowing them to do it and you're leading them that way, you're not gonna get much
Oh
farther
yeah,
than they are.
yeah. The preachers, any preachers who lead people astray,
Yes.
there's a worse punishment for them in hell.
Yes. And you see like the Christian community right now, like how many preachers are saying we can't be involved. We can't speak on that. Or the other ones that are saying we have to be accepting to the gay community. We are going to fly these flags. That is literally going against what, God wanted. He
No, I
wanted us
agree.
to
It's
be,
like, look, my best friend's gay. I have nothing against people who are gay. Okay. But I recognize the fact that um it's against the Bible. As much as I don't, as much as we may not want to hear it, it's in there. And people try to twist it. They try to say it's a mistranslation. I've heard so many different things about it. It's like, no, okay.
my
It's plain.
pastor my pastor always says, the word is the word and the word never changes. I'm going to
No.
be out here and I'm going to preach to you what the word says, but ultimately you have to go and you have to read the Bible for yourself so that you are not manipulated into thinking something that it's not.
Mhm.
And I think that so many people like read it and interpret it the way they want to. And it's like, no, that's not the case. You have to, I tell my kids, we love and respect everybody, whether they're part of the LGBTQ community, whatever they think against it, whatever. But when it comes to gays and trans and all that, we're going to respect them, we're going to love them, but we know that that lifestyle is wrong because God says it is. You know what I mean? And I think that there's a difference between being accepting and knowing that it's wrong, but still not being completely disrespectful. You know what I mean? Being like,
Yeah,
okay,
you don't have to throw it in people's faces
mhm,
all the time. You don't have to, you know, like I made a trans friend online uh through doing the show. And Aria, my daughter, she met her. And the funniest thing, I mean, like I said, kids, she tells me, she goes, Daddy, why is that man dressed as a woman?
Innocent.
And I'm just there like, I mean, that some guys just like to do that.
And we,
I
me
mean,
and you have
what do you tell a 6-year-old?
I just, like, what can you tell them? But I know me and you have had the conversation where we do have respect for them.
No,
First of all,
yeah.
like, especially when it comes to what's happening in schools and what's happening with our children as they're transitioning and hormones.
Mhm.
A lot of the times, you have people from this community standing up and fighting for the children more than their own parents. You
Oh
know,
yeah. Oh yeah,
so
definitely. That's why I had her on. That's why I had Buck Angel on. I've had was it Mario Presents? I don't even know what happened. I don't know what he's been up to. I haven't seen anything.
oh yeah, I haven't seen them online.
I haven't seen him for a long time, but he was awesome fighting
I
against
met
that stuff.
him. I met him a couple times in Hollywood. Um, he's a really good guy. And
No, he does seem like a really good guy. I enjoyed chatting with him. There
yeah,
was something he said, like, because he's a Christian, and there was something he said that I was just like, I
I
wanted
think
to push. I wanted to push back, but I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be that type of interviewer either. And I'm like, no,
yeah, I
I'll
think
leave it be because, like you just said, they're an ally in with us when it comes to the stuff that the radicals in their own community are trying to do. So you need those allies
yeah.
to help you because if not, then what do they do? Like they do to white people. Oh, you're just a white cis male and blah 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 blah. And it's like when they try to nonsense with me, I was like, look, Papa, I'm not white. You
See,
know,
like
um,
I used to be a part of Lexit,
yeah,
and
no. Mhm.
one of my issues with some of the members were how bigoted they were. And they're like, with Mario, I know there was an instance where we all took a group picture and they photoshopped him out, and then they were like, "Ew," because he's walking around in his heels because that was Mario.
Yeah,
And
no,
I got really upset because I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, just being a Latino and just being MAGA, you are hated on and you are disrespected and you're being no different to him.
yeah,
He's here at a rally to protect our children. This is not the time to act that way. You know what I mean? And
no,
yeah, that girl's no longer with the group either. But it was just so to me like, yes, we do know that in the Bible it says that this is a sin. And we do want to save them and we do want to then go to heaven and all that. But right now, I think you have to look at what they're doing. There are certain individuals who are putting up such a fight for our children.
yeah.
And those are children who don't have a voice. And a lot of the parents are scared to speak up. If the parent is not going to speak up to protect their child, I am so thankful that there are other adults who are willing to do so.
Mm. Well, I'm gonna leave it there because my wife has been calling me.
Okay, I'll let you know. But
um, let's end it here, and we'll talk offline about when when we're going to do this again, and we'll talk about the other stuff that we got
yeah,
to decide on the name, on how to spell it, and how to let's see how we could get it on social media.
yeah, how to make it catchy.
All right. Well, you have a good night. Everyone
Okay.
have a good night. Thank you for everyone who watched, and um, probably sometime next week, we'll try to plan it a little bit better, and we'll try to let's see if maybe let's aim maybe if even if we don't let me just sign off. And don't hang up yet.
Good night, you
All right.
guys.
All right. Good night, everyone. I want to end the live and have a good one.